Hey guys, my name is Jonathan Reich. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of Louisiana, and today I wanted to talk about one of the more technical aspects of accounting that a lot of small business owners miss, and some of the ways you can get around it to make sure that you're maximizing your deductions whenever you're filing taxes and keeping an accurate profit and loss statement. So, what I wanted to talk about today is fixed asset depreciation. And if you're not an accountant or a small business owner with a lot of equipment, you may not be familiar with that term. And basically, what fixed asset depreciation is I'll just give you a good example. Let's say I buy a truck for $100,000. I'm using it for my business. Maybe I'm in the construction industry. Well, 6 years from now, 7 years from now, 5 years from now, that truck's going to be a little worn down. So it might have 200,000 miles on it. And the $100,000 that I paid up front for, it's not going to be worth that anymore. And so that's the basis of depreciation. It's basically recognizing the expense on asset over time. And there are lots of softwares out there that can help you do that. And in this example, it sounds really, really simple. But imagine you've got like 100 pieces of equipment. It really gets overwhelming quickly. And I see a lot of small business owners kind of fail and fluster over that. And here's a really good example. This right here is just a Excel spreadsheet of a depreciation schedule and the asset schedule. So you can see here, like, between pickups and equipment, skid steers, little odds and ends, Georgia buggies, trailers, hand trial machines, stuff like that. Like, you would have to depreciate every single one of these values here at a different rate for a different time period, depending on the book value of the asset. It's just really not that great. It's not a great system. And so a lot of small business owners fall into that trap of using Excel spreadsheets and they don't have to. And so today I want to talk about some of the software out there that actually does a really good job or maybe kind of a really bad job of keeping up with your fixed asset modules. And so the first one that I want to talk about today that I've just really been happy with on some of the like technical accounting features that it offers is Puzzle. And Puzzle is really refreshing to me because it offers things like contra GL accounts, revenue accruals, revenue deferrals without having to make complex journal entries, fixed asset depreciations. It's got a really intuitive AI interface. So Puzzle is like kind of been my go-to for new clients or clients that have a lot of fixed asset depreciation. And that doesn't have to be necessarily like the example I just showed you. I mean, you can depreciate the chair that I'm sitting in, or the desk that I'm sitting at, or the laptop that I'm recording this on. Everything that has a useful working life is going to have pretty much some type of IRS guideline that's going to guide you to what that working life is. So, like, I think laptops are like 5 years or 7 years. Uh, Desk, I believe, are 7 or 10 years. Chairs, furniture, fixtures is around 10 years. Vehicles, 5 years, stuff like that. And so you can depreciate all kinds of stuff. You don't have to just be in the construction business. So if I want to do a journal entry in air quotes in Puzzle to record my fixed asset depreciation, it's super simple. So like I've already got a couple items in here. Um, I'm just showing you this one because I do want to talk about some of the other options out there, but this is how easy it is in Puzzle or some of the other softwares that we're going to go through in just a minute. So you just click add fixed asset, and then you would just hit manual. Okay, what day did you buy it? I bought this thing September 1st. What did I buy? Maybe I bought, let's see, what's something I've really wanted. Maybe I bought an office building. I bought a whole building, guys. And then the asset type, it's going to be, I don't have a GL account set up for it. So my office building is actually just going to be a piece of furniture at the moment, and I paid $100,000 for it. Yeah, right. Nothing costs $100,000 anymore. When do we want to start depreciating it? I want to depreciate it starting the very next month, October 1st, and then the useful life of an office building. I think it's around 37 or 39 years. I think it's 39 years. That's it. And so now Puzzle is going to automatically record the depreciation expense. It's going to flow from your balance sheet to your profit and loss and show that expense monthly. And you set it and forget it. It's pretty great. But then, like, let's say, hey, I really don't like this $100,000 office building. It's got a ton of like leaking pipes. It's drafty. It's in a bad part of town. That $100,000 office building wasn't a great idea. And so, if I want to remove that recurring entry, all I have to do is click on these little three dots and hit dispose. And when did I sell it? Submit. Done. It's gone. It's that easy. And so Puzzle makes it really, really nice to get away from that spreadsheet that we just talked about. Intuit does offer a fixed asset module that can track your depreciation, but I haven't really been super happy with it, mainly because of the price. So, in order to access QuickBooks Online's depreciation module for their fixed asset, you have to get their most expensive plan, and I believe it's around $250 after that. I'm sorry, $275 after that 3-month promotional period. It's very frustrating because it's a very basic accounting feature that they're locking behind a paywall. Now, in terms of the actual technical use of it, it works. It's very similar to Puzzle. You're going to find that most of these are pretty easy. How much did you buy it for? What is it? How long did you want to appreciate it for? And then if you ever sell it, you're going to find that to be a recurring theme within the next couple of software. So Intuit does offer it. It works just as well as Puzzle, but it's very, very high priced, and there's no reason for it to be, which is a little frustrating for someone that does find themselves within the QuickBooks ecosystem relatively often. The next one is Sage. Sage does have a fixed asset module, but my hang up with Sage is it's not for most small businesses. So, in order to get the most out of Sage, you're gonna need to have a team of accountants, in my opinion. You would need to have at least 3 or 4 like staff accountants, not bookkeepers, and your business needs to be turning over probably at least 20 or $30 million a year in order to really get the most out of Sage. And that's because it's so robust. You can track things across locations, classes, indirect or direct, and then you can also tie that back to your fixed asset modules. It just takes a lot of manpower and hours to get very familiar with Sage. Sage is also a little bit pricey. You're going to basically do an interview with the salesperson. They're going to kind of see and tailor what you need, and then they're going to pitch you a price. Don't expect it to be cheap. It's going to be at least a couple $100 a month, if not more. And then it also goes up with the amount of users that you have within the accounting platform. So Sage is really robust, but you need to make sure you've got a good team behind you and you're capable of taking full advantage of the software. The next one I want to talk about is Xero. Xero is pretty robust in just about everything that it does. And Xero's ability to track fixed asset depreciation is no exception. You are able to track your fixed assets within the platform. And I do believe it's actually a fair bit cheaper than QuickBooks. Yes, here it is. So $80 a month for their premium plan. Xero is very user friendly. It's going to be very similar to Puzzle and QuickBooks, where once again, you just put the purchase price of the asset, the useful life, the residual, otherwise known as scrap value of the asset. Sorry, I just realized I may have thrown an accounting term out there for those of you who aren't accountings, but scrap value is basically like what can I get for that junk truck whenever it's done. And then you're just going to pick your disposal date or whenever it's going to be fully depreciated, and Xero will let you run that fixed asset depreciation model. Very user intuitive, relatively cheap. I don't really have many complaints about Xero, but just be weary that you can outgrow it, and then you'll need to start thinking about a platform like Puzzle, like Sage. The final one I want to talk about is I'm just mentioning this one kind of for fun. NetSuite is going to let you do things very similar to Sage Intact. You can depreciate, run different types of accounting methodologies, whether it be book basis, tax basis, things like that. NetSuite's going to let you pull all the levers. You can do anything you want. The problem with NetSuite is you have to be an even bigger company than you do with Sage in order to take the most advantage of it. Just because it's so robust, it's so like you can get down into the weeds really quickly. And so you're going to need a team. You're going to need a lot of money flowing through the door. It just doesn't really work for most small businesses because it's a colossal waste of time on training and it's a colossal waste of resources paying for that software. Now, if you do find yourself running a very successful business, yes, NetSuite can't be beat. There's a reason that it and SAP are just like kind of the behemoths out there in the accounting industry. And so it does have that fixed asset module to let you track your depreciation, and you can do it all kinds of different ways. I'm sure you could probably do it in Chinese if you wanted to. And so with that, it definitely can, but I'm not saying you should, just because you're going to be paying a lot of money for it. You're going to be spending a lot of time on it. So, anyway, guys, now that you know a little bit about some of the depreciation methods and the fixed asset modules within the different softwares, I definitely want to make sure and encourage you that you are taking advantage of those and these softwares because you can effectively limit your IRS tax liability by tracking depreciation appropriately. And it just makes good sense. So you can have accurate financials and see how your business is running. So check out some of the softwares I've recommended today. Thanks for watching, guys.